Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to On the Bright Line podcast, Tales from Recovering Food Addicts from the perspective of a physician, a therapist, and an off-the-wall storyteller. We are not affiliated or endorsed by Brightline Eating, and all content presented in this podcast represents our personal opinions and does not represent medical, nutritional, or psychological professional advice. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of On the Bright Line podcast. Today we are going to talk about declaring maintenance, which some people might be like, what does that mean? And I myself have had this experience in the last week of time of like, what does that mean to declare maintenance? Because we've talked a lot, we've done episodes on maintenance, what is maintenance, like getting to maintenance, that sort of thing. But we haven't talked about like when you stop and say, I'm no longer in weight loss, or I'm no longer in a weight loss mentality. Now I'm in a maintenance mindset. And so I think that it's a good discussion to have. I want to tell the story of myself because I have recently just done this. For those that are listening and are also, follow me on social media, I put out a vlog about, guess what guys, I'm in maintenance now. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I think, Bonnie's going to tell her story about, when she, declared, we're going to put air quotes around that, declared maintenance. And, Robin's going to chime in whenever she feels the need. Do you want to start, or would you like me to start?
Sure, I can start.
Okay.
I don't remember the day, the exact moment or whatever.
You didn't write it down in your food journal?
Right.
No, just kidding.
Probably did, but I don't have it like committed memory. I hit a point. Actually, I hit a point where I started to feel suddenly hungrier between meals. So for the first week, it was like, all right, it's just because I'm, unlike Meagan, I'm a super slow weight loss. Slow loser. And I had somebody post in the community this week about that. Just they showed their graph, like, just so you know, because you hear all these stories like, I lost 3 pounds a week and it's been so great. And it's like, I lost a pound a week for like the first month, and then like a half a pound every 3 weeks after that for the whole 70 pounds. So it was brutal.
Right.
So, but I was in a rhythm and it was going fine. And then I just hit a point where I'm like, wow, I'm like really getting hungry between meals. And I had wanted to be, I had a magic number in my mind of the weight I wanted to be. And I was about 10 pounds over that. But I went, I like, let me increase my water, and maybe I'm not having as much fat, and I need to, I kind of tweaked a little bit. And then I realized, my body's just telling me like, this is it. And so the first thing I added was an extra gram of protein at breakfast and at lunch, and that stopped the hunger. And then I was there.
Ounce.
I'm sorry, an ounce. Yeah, an extra ounce.
I'm just
I'm sorry. I went from,
protein
the weight
doesn't
loss.
sound like much.
The women's weight loss is 4 ounces of protein. And so I went up to 5 ounces for both breakfast and lunch. And that kind of quelled the hunger. And I hate to tell you, but because I'm short, I've not been able to add much more than that. I've added 1 grain at lunch. And that's where I stopped. And so I lost probably another pound after I made that transition over about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then it stopped. And so that was me in maintenance. And so, I remember watching one of the modules on maintenance, and they have a panel at the end of each of the module sections. They have a panel discussion. This guy, and it's a guy, right, with great metabolism or whatever. He had like 11 ads, and I mean, I'm thinking to myself, well, I won't have 11.
I just snorty laughed. I'm sorry.
I'm like, I won't have 11 ads, but I mean, I can't wait to add,
X,
grain
Y,
at every
Z.
meal, and I'm gonna and it's like no. So I don't eat much more than the women's weight loss portion, and if I do, I gain weight, and then that's the maintenance dance, right? As I've been through a period of stress where I traveled a lot, and I was not weighing my food, and I was definitely way over on my quantities. And so, and I just zoomed back up 10 pounds. And I mean, in 3 months, 10 pounds. That's how fast I can gain it.
Right.
And you guys know how long it'll take me to lose it.
Yeah.
So I'm back on the weight loss plan. So I've taken away my 1 grain and my 2 ounces of protein. And I will lose a quarter of a pound, a week until I get that back off. And that is the maintenance dance. And that is not exciting, but I will tell you the biggest thing is getting back to being careful with weighing my food and continuing to write my food down. I just immediately went back to food freedom.
Yeah.
Like immediately, because when I was stressed out and going the portions a little higher, then I just constantly had food thoughts about worrying about trying to stay on plan and thinking about food all the time. And
Yeah.
so even though I'm not back at my preferred weight yet, have complete food peace now. Like I'm not having food thoughts. So it happens really quick to get rid of those food thoughts. You just have to be completely clean. So, yeah.
But I like that you named it as a dance, right? That maintenance is not always going to be something that you necessarily stay in, that you may have to dance back into.
Yeah, and it doesn't end. It's just, this is
Yeah.
forever, right? That's the thing. It's like, this
Yeah.
is my forever plan because I want to have freedom from food thoughts and I want to have a healthy body.
Yeah.
And it's like, so this is just what I do now, you know?
Yeah. So
Tell us your story,
I will tell you the
Meagan.
story. So, I mean, this is interesting because I have had a little food ad throughout my weight loss journey. So,
Because you're a fast weight loser, so
I
you've
am
been able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just, I'll lay the groundwork a little bit here. I know that a lot of people probably have heard this, but I'll tell it again. You know, I have been a very significantly fast loser, you know, through weight loss, 2 to 3 pounds a week, which is, you know, that's huge. And so about 8 months in, you know, I was doing regular hiking, having hunger after hiking days. So I actually did protein ads on hiking days, went up to enhance just on hiking days. And then a couple months after that, I was having hunger daily.
Yeah.
So then, you know, went up to enhanced protein overall. So you know, I've been on the enhanced protein, which is still a weight loss plan. Like, let's put that out there. Some people just need more protein, you know, until recently. So I have been working with the maintenance guide for the last couple months, just talking through, because I was getting close and I was like just talking through like when I need to, what I need to do basically. Like, and that at the point for the last couple months, it was like, we're just holding steady. You're still losing weight. You're not close enough to goal. We're just holding steady. Eat the food you're going to, you know, eat. You know, pay attention to when hunger is. Let's identify what real hunger is. Like, that's another thing to really think about, because sometimes like tummy growling isn't really hunger, you know?
Oh, good point.
And so, you know, to me, I've noticed what my real hunger is more of like this lightheaded, like, you know, feeling of like, you know, like, and honestly, because I had type 2 diabetes and that sort of thing. Like I recognize that as like feeling like my blood sugar is low, you know? So that's kind of that
weak
feeling.
Yeah.
And so like I was starting to get that, especially the days after, because I started Pilates. It's like the days after I'd worked out, I would start getting that like lightheaded feeling before meals. And it was like sometimes like an hour before I was supposed to eat or more. So, you know, I was making my maintenance guide aware of it. And then over the last 2 weeks, and I will put out there that I've had very significant life stress as well. So I know that this is not 100% just, you know, the food and whatever, but I lost 7 pounds over 2 weeks, which was being in a enhanced protein state and like not doing anything else. Like it was scary. Like it was frightening. So I was like, okay, you know, I get on the horn with the maintenance guide and I'm like, okay, like, I'm just like, hey, I'm throwing this out there. We might need to do something, because I was at that point, I mean, at this point, like I'm about, you know, 4 or 5 pounds from the top of my goal range.
Okay, and let's back up. I know you've been losing 2 to 3 pounds a week through the program,
Yeah.
but in the last month, what had your rate been?
No, my rate had been about a pound a week. So
It had slowed a little bit, but it was still
right. Yeah, it has slowed as I've gotten closer and closer to goal. Thank you for pointing that out. So that is 100% true. So just this, like I said, this last 2 weeks, and I've gone up to, I started with 1 Pilates class a week for 4 weeks, and then I went up to 2 Pilates classes for the last 4 weeks. And so like, I knew like next week I'm going to start 3 Pilates classes a week, and that's where I'm staying. I'm not going any more than that, guys. I'm not nuts, and I don't really have the time to work out more than that. But I just knew like adding more exercise, getting closer to goal. I'm like, okay, like I don't want to blow past. Like that was what I was really started to scare me, is I'm like, you know, I had a 4-pound weight loss and a 3-pound weight loss in 2 weeks. And I was like, that is like, I mean, if I keep this up, I'm going to be beyond goal in like another week or two.
Yeah.
Right.
And so anyway, all that to say, got with my maintenance guide, you know, and she basically was like, okay, it's time to do your ad. It's time to do your first ad. We're going to add a grain to lunch. So that was my, that was my food ad. And so I was like, okay, like I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to add my grain to lunch. And I was talking to somebody, you know, I was talking to a BLE friend about this, and I was like, okay, so here I am adding my food, and, you know, and they were like, okay, are you declaring maintenance? And I was like, well, I'm not at goal, like, I'm like,
Right.
but I'm not at my goal weight. Like, can I declare maintenance? Like, I don't know. Like, can you do, like,
What are the rules?
What are the rules here? Like, somebody tell me what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. But, they said that basically, like, because it's a dance that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life.
Sure.
And this is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
That I mean, and the choice was mine, obviously. Like, nobody was telling me what to do. But it was like, if you are going to do it, there's no other defined time than when you do your first ad. Like, and I was like, I mean, like, light bulbs went
Right.
off and, all the thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, you were 100% right. So I did it. I declared maintenance. So I am now
So how many days ago?
hashtag maintenance Meagan.
Right.
How many days ago did you do your first ad?
So it was the 21st of February and we're on the 24th of February.
Okay.
So I think it was
Right.
Thursday. Was that
Right.
Thursday? And we're on a Saturday? I don't know. Someone
something.
else do the math. It's not my
So
math is not my strong suit.
So did it feel anticlimactic or did it feel?
So that was the interesting thing is I was
Yeah.
actually eating lunch while I was talking to this person and they were
Right.
like, how does it feel? And I was like, it feels fine. Like, I was like, there's nothing like, it was not exciting at all for me.
I
Like,
found the same thing, and that's
Yeah.
why I asked. It's very. I think it's like our whole lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've been on every diet there is.
Well, I want to talk about that too.
and dreamed
Yeah,
of that dream weight,
Yeah.
and that it was
Right.
going to be this ta-da, like everything's going to be okay. Everything in my life is going to be great when I'm this weight.
The
Yeah.
location
And then you
cure.
add
Yeah.
that food, and you're just at that weight, and it's like, it's
Oh.
time for me to find something else to get my dopamine hit
Well,
from.
Yes.
and I will say too, it's like I think the bigger thing for me was less about. I mean, it was amazing to like be eating like, okay, I'm doing this food ad and I'm not having feelings or needing to have dopamine around it because I
Nice.
really did feel like
Good.
it was just
Yeah.
very easy.
Yeah.
But I will say it was also just like this epiphany of like for the exact first time in my entire life, and I mean like I'm not even there's no exaggeration. I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to lose weight anymore. Like, I want to get down to my goal weight, right? Like, I'm not saying like there are a
Right.
few more pounds that I'm going to lose, but I think because of my rate of weight loss, even adding, I'm going to continue to lose weight, until I get there and maybe even have more ads. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. But for the first time in my life, I'm having to make a concerted effort to stop losing weight
Wow.
in a conscious manner.
Yes.
Which I mean, before there's been unconscious times that I've been like, oh, I'm not going to lose any more weight because I'm going to shove all the food down my gullet. But, like for the first time in my life, I'm like, this is it, guys. Like, I'm not a weight loss person anymore. Like, now I'm a maintenance person,
Right.
which that was the real epiphany
Yeah.
of the whole thing. Was it's like, okay, now this is where I have to dance for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, I think for me, like, we do the one day at a time, right? So it's like, I'm not going to have NMF or NMD because I'm
Today.
doing this.
Yeah.
But there is a fantasy in the back of your mind that because every other time I've ever lost weight, when you get to the idea that when I get to goal, it'll all be good then.
Right.
And there's just a fantasy that you're going to have,
Yeah.
I don't know, something else that's going to be wonderful when you do your ads. And again, I just think preparing for that reality that ads is just one more BLE compliant bite.
it's honestly
and it's
just more food to think about.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing that
more
like
food to plan.
manage.
to
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something else I have
But
to
it's
manage
just,
now.
and she talks about this in the maintenance modules, just preparing for that reality, like that it really is going to be anticlimactic because there's not like you're going to add NMF or NMD at the end. That's
You're-
not the point. Right. And so you're just going to keep eating your BLE.
I had to go to my
foods.
mom's house to get Triscuits too. Can I just put that out there? Because I didn't have any Triscuits. I had that conversation in the morning and I knew I had to add at lunch. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, Mom, do you have any Triscuits? Because
Right,
I don't have any
right.
Triscuits.
That's great.
There was no compliant grain in my house that I could eat
That's
at lunchtime.
great.
Unless I wanted to eat oatmeal, which I did not want to eat
Yeah.
oatmeal at lunch.
I do the Ezekiel bread, so
I mean, I could have,
Yeah.
again, there was nothing in my
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
So it was
that's
like,
great.
hey, Mom.
But it's that point of there's no big finish line that you're crossing and
Yeah.
people are applauding and the publishers clearinghouse
But I
people
will say the
showing
community's been very supportive. Like, I did
Yes.
put a post out this declaring maintenance, and the community, I mean,
Right.
I love our
Sure.
community. Like, they have just been so supportive and it's been
Yeah.
lovely, and I just really appreciate all that. But yeah, I mean, in my life, like the people surrounding me, it's just like, okay, you get to add crackers at lunch.
up. Right.
Like,
Woohoo! And
there's no parade for that, for sure.
and that idea of like that we were talking about of, oh, okay, so like what's next in my life? Right? Not just in my program and doing the maintenance dance.
Well, and we're going to do an episode where we talk about the dopamine hit of
Yeah.
weight loss and how to, well, maybe not how, I don't know that we know how to tell people how to deal with that, but we're going to talk about dealing
Sure.
with that. So that's, that's another episode really just to talk through that. But, yeah, I mean, I think maintenance, it is a dance, and this is my life. And I think I think that's how I'm feeling today. Like today, and who knows what tomorrow will bring. Like we don't know, but today I'm feeling like, okay, this is what the rest of my life is going to look like, is like how to maintain the level of activity that I want to maintain, and how to eat and fuel my body appropriately for that, and maintain a healthy body weight. So yeah. So, I mean, we can talk numbers too. Like, I don't, I put my weight is on my Instagram profile. So if anybody wants to know, it's out there for you to know, but I will tell you. So I started the program at 308. I'm currently today, I'm like 169, and my goal range is 155 to 165. And I upped that because I'm only 5'7", I'm 5'7". I upped that from my original goal, which was 140 to 150, because I do believe that loose skin does weigh something. And so I do have excess loose skin that, unless I surgically remove it, will be there. And so it does weigh something, and I don't want to discount. I don't want to overshoot what's a healthy weight for me, and not think about the fact that loose skin does weigh something. So that's the numbers if people are interested. So that, I mean, and this is, obviously, like, I wanted to tell the story because I thought it was really interesting. And it was one of those things that it's just like, I hadn't even considered, like, to me, it was like getting to the goal. Like getting to the goal was declaring, maintenance, not that this is the dance. And now that I'm starting the dance because I've changed my program in a significant way. That is what has now brought me to being in maintenance and being #maintenance Meagan.
Maintenance Meagan. Love it.
It's my new hashtag. Anything else? Do you have anything else to add to the conversation, either of you? No. Okay. Well, celebration for real, guys. Like, it's very exciting. I hope that if you are new in the community or have been in the community for a long time, or new to us, new to BLE, that you would see that there is hope in this, that we can, this can be done. I think I'm a walking clinical trial for how well BLE heals the body, as far as like my labs. We've talked about all this, the clinical benefits, that sort of thing, but just that, you can do it. It is possible, and it takes time and, obviously some effort, but it is possible to be at a healthy weight and have a healthy mindset, really, which is, I think,
be free of food thoughts.
Exactly. I mean, and the win really here is that, like, yes, adding food didn't
trigger more food thoughts.
It didn't trigger me, and it wasn't even like, there wasn't even like a lot of anything in it. It was just like, okay, there's more food now,
There we
and
go.
maybe I won't be as hungry tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, that is our episode today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, if you have ideas for topics or questions for us, you can email us at onthebrightlinepodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials. Have a beautiful day. Bye.